Welcome back, everybody. It's Untap Your Go. Yes, I'm alive. Yes, the channel is alive. I have been working nonstop. I'm picking up so many hours, and I'm losing a lot of time. So I haven't been able to upload as much as I want to, and that sucks because I know a lot of you are waiting for it. I know the YouTube algorithm expects it, and it's really hard to keep up with. But on the bright side, for those of you who do want to see the content, whether I'm posting on YouTube or not, I am also Twitch streaming finally. So if you guys want to catch me live and like talk to me and interact with me while we're playing, please go check out twitch.tv/untapyourgo. I do not really have a schedule as far as like when I stream, but I do send out notifications. So if you want to catch a stream every once in a while, I am trying to stream more to try to at least compensate for the lack of YouTube content. With that being said, let's dive right into this deck. I've been having a ton of fun playing this. I played it on stream a few nights ago, so for those of you who have seen that stream, you already know what to expect. This deck is fantastic again. So, Setesian Champion, for those of you who are not familiar with this card, 3 mana Enchantress basically. It's a 1/3. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you put a counter on it and you draw a card. So you'd imagine this stacks very well with a bunch of enchantments, right? Right. With Kaldheim, we get all these runes. So these are enchantments that give either equipment the effect or the creature the effect. This is amazing because these draw cards, you enchant the champion, this draws you more cards. You're just going to top deck yourself very quickly. And Runeforge Champion tutors all of these out of our graveyard, out of our library. So your opponent can't really stop it. They can mill us, but we can just get it back. And honestly, we want them to mill us because we're playing 3 copies of Storm Herald. And this is a 3 mana 3/2 with haste. When it comes into play, returns all auras, basically any number, but all auras, to the battlefield attached to any number of creatures you control. So if we're up against rogues, we're in great shape because we just want them to fill our graveyard. We want to see a Storm Herald. We want to resolve it, obviously. And then we just attack for lethal. But between these 3 creatures, Runeforge Champion, Setesian Champion, and Storm Herald, we actually have like a really spicy build of just major consistency, which is very unusual for this type of archetype. We have all 4 copies of a Transcendent Envoy. This is another card that was very popular about a year ago with Setesian Champion. This is a 2 mana 1/2 with flying. All auras cost 1 less to cast. Short, sweet, to the point. It's also an enchantment creature, so it's going to check for Setesian Champion, and you will get a draw off of that. What's really cool to note though, this makes your auras cost 1 less to cast. Runeforge Champion makes all of your runes cost 1. So with these two in play, your runes cost 0 mana, so you get to just play them, draw cards, and just chain a bunch of draws that way, and hopefully close out the game. We have all 4 copies of All That Glitters. This is probably just the best enchantment we have access to. It's going to help close out the game the most consistently. It's going to give us the most damage. We get 1/1 for each artifact and or enchantment we control, which is pretty much the entire deck. We have 3 copies of Sentinel's Eyes. Obviously, this card is really good. It's especially good right now since Dimir Rogues is very popular. They're going to mill us. We're going to have ways of bringing this back. It's just a nice way to have an enchantment to guarantee that we have a way to draw a card with Setesian Champion, or to be able to squeeze in a little bit of damage overhead, whatever we have to do. We have 4 copies of All Seed of Life's Bounty. This is also an enchantment creature, very, very important. It's a 1 mana 1/1 with lifelink. You can pay 1 and sacrifice it to give a creature or an enchantment color protection till end of turn. And that's really going to help keep us alive. Keep getting into the mana base. This is a really awkward split that we have going on here. But in the mana base, we have a mix of basics, the pathways, and that's it. That's it. We don't want temples. Forget temples. You don't want temples. You don't want triomes. Who cares? You do not need them. You're going to draw a bunch of cards anyway, thanks to Runeforge Champion. All 12 of our runes draw cards naturally, so even if we don't have a Setesian Champion, we're still going to find some more resources and hopefully get the ball rolling. And that is Naya Auras. In the sideboard, we have 2 copies of Roiling Vortex against the late game strategies, 3 copies of Destiny Spinner to prevent our stuff from being countered. This checks for creatures and enchantments, so it's especially good in this deck. 2 copies of Warbriar Blessing. This is just a nice way to fight against like small ball aggro decks if you need to kill a creature or 2. 4 copies of Banishing Light. We want all 4 against control because it's really good against their planeswalkers. Just all their nuisances. Narsets, we need to kill Narset so we can draw cards. We need to kill their Leyline of the Void if they happen to play it. We need to kill their Grafdigger's Cage if they happen to play it. You know, this is just like our silver bullet that we can bring in against pretty much every matchup to make sure that our game plan is still going to go as smooth as possible. Then we have one copy of Valakut Exploration. This is just kind of honestly for fun. I didn't really know what to put here. If you guys want to try this out, feel free. It's just a 3-mana enchantment with landfall. Draws you a card by exiling a card. After you play a land, you can play that card. So it essentially draws you cards, and then when you end your turn, all the cards that are exiled get put into your graveyard, which is really important because if we can't cast the card off the top with Valakut Exploration, if it's an enchantment, it's going to go to the graveyard, which we will eventually be able to get back with the Storm Herald. So it kind of works out. 2 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death to again be able to deal with our opponent's problematic permanents. It's also going to give us a little bit of protection on that second chapter by giving our opponents a hard time with their mana base trying to cast their non-creature spells. And then the third chapter is going to bring back our creatures, which is very important because again, if a Storm Herald's in our graveyard, we can bring that back. If we need the Setesian Champion or we need the Runeforge Champion so we can reduce these costs so we can play them all out of our hand, it's just nice to be able to bring back our creatures. And then to finish out the sideboard, we have 1 copy of Elder Gargaroth, and this is a 5-mana 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach, Trample. When it attacks or blocks, you can choose one, create a 3/3, gain 3, or draw a card. So this is good against a lot of matchups. Against control, it draws you cards. Against aggro, it gains you life and puts bodies into play. Against Dimir Rogues, it's just a big 6/6 with reach that they literally will never attack through, ever. So this is perfect to finish off the sideboard, and that is Naya Auras in Standard. We're going to take this into the arena, best of 1 today, and we're going to try to get some wins and show you guys how powerful this deck really is. And if you like this deck, check the link down below to the Aether Hub. I will post the deck link down below so you guys can try it out yourselves. If you like this content, please leave a like on today's video. And I've been struggling, guys, so I have not been uploading very frequently. The YouTube algorithm is sucking me dry because of it. So if you could, please, 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 I know I say it every video, but please put a like on today's video, hit the bell, subscribe, do the comments, do everything that YouTube wants you guys to do. Just help push me back into the algorithm. Let's keep this channel alive and keep growing. And with that, let's play some Naya Auras in Standard. So we're on the play against Dietz Mob, and our opening hand seems pretty good, but we don't have an early play. So I'm going to mulligan. And this is much better. I guess we bottom the Rune of Speed. Let's get one of all that glitters on here. Keeps it out of range of shock. They'd have to have like Lava Coil, or is that even in Standard? That's not in Standard. Thundering Rebuke is the one that does 4 damage. And we're just gonna go in. Good thing is we get to cast our enchantment first before, but who cares? We're just chunking them down to 7. Or down to 10, I mean. Realistically, I could have played the Setesian Champion so we could like draw a bunch of cards, but I really felt like pressuring the opponent was correct. Let's start beating. Now they have to play blockers just to stay alive. It feels good to be able to put an aggressive deck on the back, like on the back foot like that. It's very refreshing when you're not the one getting like like having your life total put down to 10 or less by turn 4. Ah, man, if we draw an enchantment off the top or a Runeforge Champion. Huh. So we can gain control of our dude. We have to sacrifice that, I think. That's pretty good. If we just had the mountain. I could have played this for red earlier, but didn't have the other green. See how, like, tricky it gets with the mana base? Gets a little awkward, for sure. And now they have a gold span. Fuck. Man, if we could have just got this Storm Herald. Ah, come on, mountain. I would have actually held up the gold span as a blocker, because we have to attack into him. Thankfully, we drew into a enchantment, though, so we're going to draw 2 cards. There's the mountain. And now we win? Put them both on Cetesian Boy, 9/11. Good game. Wow, so the Akrone War kind of scared me, though. Stealing the All-Seed, if we let that resolve, that would have been backbreaking. All the truth will arise. Nothing you can longer hide. It's all on your sleeve. Followed the footsteps in front of me. They led me here to your hollow grave. Saw the promises that led us here. And it's confusion that still consumes me in all the choices I have made. Can't be for worse or yet better gain. Walking in circles again. How much longer can I take of this corroborate? My confidence is sold on me. I'm walking this lonely path again. One I'm already quite familiar with. Just know by the time this song meets your ears, I will have already let you go, my dear. So our opponent finally decided to keep. I'm pretty sure they just disconnected, so we're going to keep, and then we're probably on another rope. We're going to wait. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that song in the cut or not, but that is an original that I have written during one of many breakups. Oh, our opponent is actually here. Okay. They're just slow rolling us. End their life gain. Perfect. Oh boy. Alright. Well, we need this Transcendent Envoy to live, because he's about to go turn 2. Oh no, he missed his land drop? Aw, boo. Alright, alright. Let's play this out as a green. Transcendent. Alright, as long as this lives to see a turn. Okay. Okay. Alright, that's fine. So what do we... I could All That Glitters and Rune of Speed, our Transcendent Envoy. We could just, like, start Troning and just get there. Or do we play out the Cetesian Champion? they're going to be gaining a bunch of life. Like next turn, they could possibly gain. They could play another Righteous Valkyrie, and that would be really, really hard to play against. All right, so let's play this out as the red. We're gonna Rune of Speed first. Draw a card. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Rune of Might. Give it Trample. All that glitters. Holy shit. Now, if our opponent kills it, we can still rely on the Storm Herald to bring all of it back. Yeah, that's right, opponent. You're not the only one that's making 6+ power creatures with flying. He's thinking about it, because if he blocks, he's not going to get the 27 or more life clause next turn. Because he's going to have to play another Righteous Valkyrie. Even if he plays the other Righteous Valkyrie this turn, he's only gaining 8 life, so he's going to... No, it's going to be 4. It's still just going to be 4 life. Alright, Legion Angel. Get some 3 life. Another Angel out of the board. We're about to get disconnected. I think we're about to get disconnected. No? Okay, cool. Servers have been so bad. They've been so bad, guys. Historic Anthology 4 ruined the servers yet again. Alright, so our opponent is... They're trying. I mean, they are trying. So the best plan, I think, here is grab the Rune Forge. Yeah, let's grab Rune of Sustenance. Why not? So we actually get to cast these for 0. Yep. And I mean, we're just gaining chunks of life back, so they can't just kill us right away. I mean, we didn't get to play the All Seed. If we played the All Seed, we can give this protection. Our Transcendent Envoy sticking around this long is very fortunate for us. Our opponent could very easily have Glass Casket is a card. Well, they're not going to play it, I guess. But Glass Casket is a thing. They could be playing Extinction Event. They could be playing Heartless Act. There's a lot of things that they have access to. And since they're playing Angels, they could be playing that Black-White Enchantment, the Saga that lets them kill creatures and makes an Angel. Alright. Well, our opponent decides to... Actually sucks we don't have double white, because if we played All Seed, this goes to 11. Yeah. If we can draw a second white source... We did not. Well, he has to all block if he wants to kill the Envoy, and then we can just give him protection afterwards. If we sacked to give it protection first to try to close out the game, we would actually go down the last enchantment we would need to have lethal, which is the only reason why we didn't. We're not going to play the Rune of Sustenance. We're just going to hold off on that. These two with combination of each other seem really strong, though. Like Rune Forge, there's 12 runes in the deck. You can play 20 altogether. They all draw you cards. And the fact that this draws you more cards, this makes them all cheaper, these two together make them free. It's very strong. Very strong interaction. And our opponent is going heavy with the Legion Angels. Opponent gives it up. I actually realize... All Seed was gonna make all of his enchantments fall off anyway. So we would have lost the All That Glitters and the Rune of Sustenance. They were still at 9, so like we would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, or no, it would have been 3, so it would have been 4 damage. Yeah, I actually punted. I punted. We wouldn't have killed him going into the third and final game up against Radon, and can we go undefeated? Our opponent is playing Obosh, which means everything is on the odd convert mana cost, so they're going to be very heavy in 1-drops and 3-drops. And this hand is like good, but it's not great. This hand is better. The Rune of Sustenance is going to be very much appreciated. We'll bottom one of the All Seeds. Alright, turn 1 Shock. Or Spikefield Hazard. Let's see it. I'm going to want the Cetacean Champion first. Alright. Let's try and draw a card, see if we can find our third land. We did not. I don't like that this is the only one that doesn't give any power or toughness. Sucks. And that's pretty bad. Come on, land. Yikes. Holy shit. This sucks. We played 24. I mean, we didn't even cut any lands, I don't think. No, actually we did. We're playing 22. 22 lands, I think. Alright, but we're back in business. Next turn we can Storm Herald, draw 2 cards? No, 4 cards. As long as our Cetacean Champion lives. Do you sacrifice the enchantments? Yeah, you exile the auras at the end step. Okay. I could play the Rune Forge and also grab a rune. Well, we only need the 1 green for the Cetacean Champion and the rune. So yeah, let's play the Rune Forge. Let's grab the Rune of Speed. We can actually give this haste. Alright. Beat down for 5. So, since they're odd, we know they're playing Bone Crusher, Brazen Borrower, and Lovestruck Beast. Brazen Borrower is the biggest problem for us because it effectively kills our creatures by taking away all of their auras and their counters. So an All Seed would be very much appreciated. We have to be careful not to run into that. Though I might be able to just win the game. Potentially. We have 5 mana. Right? So we can do the All That Glitters on the Cetacean Champion. And then let's Storm Herald. We're going to give them both to Cetacean Champion. Good game. Like I said, Storm Herald, he's the real deal again. He's so good. Welcome back to the wrap-up, everyone. If you made it this far, it means you watched the whole video, and I appreciate that greatly. But if you could do me one better, leave a like on today's video and subscribe. If you watched this video already, you liked it, so you might as well subscribe, right? Because you liked the video, you might like some of my other content. Go check it out. You know, I have like 100+ videos now on my YouTube, so go watch one of those. Anyway, with that being said, we went 3-0, undefeated, with this pile of cards. This is so fun, guys. Storm Herald has always been kind of janky. People wanted to make it work when Colossification came out, and you would fling it and just kill your opponent. It wasn't that consistent, but it was funny. With Runeforge Champion coming out from Kaldheim, we have the ability of tutoring up one of our 12 runes out of our graveyard, out of our library. It means our opponent can't do anything about it. The Transcendent Envoy combo with this, making them completely free, was so strong. These all drawing cards on their own means that whether we have a Cetesian champion in play or not, we're still going to be able to keep going. Stormhail bringing everything back means that no matter how our opponent's dealing with our permanents, we can just keep going, just keep putting pressure on the play, keep getting card advantage and closing out the game. And it really showed in this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did enjoy the deck, check the link down below to the Aether Hub so you can try it out yourselves. One thing I would suggest right away is to figure out the mana a little bit. The green is a little lacking. You know, we only have 10 green sources, which is, you know, kind of good. Like 10 out of 24, it's not bad, but we kept having moments where we just couldn't cast our Cetesian champion. We're mostly a Boros deck. We're just splashing the green for the Rune of Might and the Cetesian champion. Add the temples if you want to. I don't like temples that much, but that's all I have to say about the deck. One last thing before I wrap up the video. Again, just to remind you guys, please check out twitch.tv/untapyourgo. I do stream. I don't have a schedule, and it's not as much as I'd like to, but on the off chance that you guys are waiting for my YouTube videos, you guys can check me out, you know, at Twitch and talk to me and play with me and stuff. So that's it. That's all I got for today. I'm Rob, aka Untap Your Go. I love you all. Thank you for checking in with me today, and I will see you guys all in the next video.